Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here on such short notice. This place isn't bugged, is it?
Bugged? Wait, Jamie, what's going on?
It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
That's all I paid for it.
I think I need to get back to you on that.
Do you know what you want?
Yeah, I do now.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. Get the car or SUV you've always wanted, plus America's best warranty at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. The guilt is real, but so is the savings.
Listen, I don't want to get in your business, but if that's all she paid for it, I'll have what she's having.
It's a great day for a new Hyundai at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event going on now. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Cassie Spazzali.
I'm walking here.
Murray.
Murray, prison.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. A lot to do here. Chris Carrier will be here in about 15 minutes from right now. Former All-SEC safety at LSU. Many know him in this generation as a great high school coach, both football, track, and field in the area. Currently the head track coach over at Zachary. Saw CC on Saturday. Want to chat with him. Safety play, what he saw Saturday from LSU. And of course, being at Zachary, he had traded as Green Chris Hilton over there. So, want some perspective there. We'll talk to CC coming up here in about 12 minutes from right now. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Monday to preview Clemson week, and obviously he knows what they're up against heading up to Clemson this week.
This is going to be a great challenge, one that we're excited about, one that we're up for. Any goal that you put out there, it's not worthwhile unless it's a challenge. And so this will be a great challenge that our kids are excited about.
It's interesting that being out at fall camp all throughout this offseason, you go around LSU, and everything Brian Kelly said is true. Everything is 1-0 all over. They have a big logo that they've had on the screens at the indoor facility. It was on the screens in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. You walk into the team room at LSU where Brian Kelly has his media availability. Immediately to the left, there's 15 placards where the LSU schedule would be, the 12 regular season games, SEC championship, playoff, national championship, all that stuff. They're all covered except one, which is just Clemson on August 30th. I mean, they have been so singularly focused on this game. And y'all know I've talked up this team a lot, this LSU team, because of the talent that they brought in and returning Garrett Nussmeier. I think this is a playoff team. I think this is a double-digit win team. This is a massive challenge, though. And I could go position by position across the board and give you a favorable matchup toward LSU, except for one. And we all know which one it is. It's the offensive line. And we've talked about it ad nauseum because you're replacing 4 guys that were drafted into the NFL, including Will Campbell, who went 4th overall. Your only returning starter is DJ Chester, and he's not going to be your center this year. That's going to be Braylon Moore. So you're going to have 5 starters in new spots when you go take on Clemson. A Clemson team, which, by the way, has a couple of potential All-Americans on their defensive line. One on the inside, one at end. And a team that returns the lion's share of its talent from a year ago. 16 starters back for Clemson this year, the most returning production of any team in college football. And so I look at the offensive line, and that's my one gigantic question. Can your offensive line communicate to be more efficient and effective in the running game and keep Garrett Nussmeier upright? If the answer is to the affirmative of those 2 questions, then I think LSU could go to Clemson, and I think they could cakewalk through Clemson. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if LSU is able to effectively run the ball and keep Garrett Nussmeier upright, there's too much talent all over the field for any defense to be able to handle and limit and stop this LSU offense. There's just too much talent everywhere. But that is a gigantic if that we haven't seen, and it's a massive ask to go on the road in a true road environment to be able to do this with 5 new starters on the offensive line. And if Brian Kelly was asked, if they're going to name a starting 5 and go with those 5 this Saturday against Clemson, and the answer flatly is no.
Yeah, I don't know that you always need a static 22. You don't want everybody in a position where you're rotating every single player. But there will be a couple of positions where we'll have some rotation, and I think it will be good for us. I think it makes us better. And so, we look at different battles, right? We're going to play a number of defensive ends and defensive tackles. It's because we'll be better because of it. I think the same thing would be true on the offensive line. You're going to see more than just 5 guys out there. You'll see, at least 6 or 7, could be as many as 8 offensive linemen playing for us.
I mean, it is fair to say we know you're going to see Tyree Adams and DJ Chester, Braylon Moore, Josh Thompson, Weston Davis, Paul Mabenga, Carius Kern, possibly Cohen Eccles. And, I understand Brian Kelly saying rotation can be a good thing. And on the defensive line, I wholeheartedly agree with him. Because when you have a rotation without a drop-off, then you're keeping fresh bodies while their offensive line is out there every snap. That's true. Like, the best defensive line rotation I've ever seen at LSU was 2011. They probably had 11 guys that rotated in on that defensive line. I mean, you could go from Mingo and Montgomery to LeVar Edwards and Chancey Agayeri, a bunch of 5th-year dudes that, look, those guys weren't first-round picks, but they had played a ton of football, and they were really good. Like, excuse me, I sneezed. This team has great depth on the defensive front. They have 5 guys, I would say, at defensive tackle. They're going to rotate without much drop-off. Like, I don't know that there's a ton of difference from Don McKinley to Ahmad Bro to Bernard Gooden to Jacobian Guillory to Sadir Mitchell. Like, you got 5 dudes that are going to rotate, maybe even 6 if you throw Sean Washington in there as well, where there's not a giant drop-off. A year ago, Jacobian Guillory was your best guy, and there was a massive drop-off to number 2. Guillory got hurt, and you were just gutted. Last year at end, you were really good with Jones and Swinson. I mean, there was a point early in the season where Braden Swinson was trending towards setting the LSU single-season sack record. But after those 2 guys, it was a massive drop-off to freshman Gabe Relaford and Deshaun Womack, who was no good against the run. You couldn't put him out there. Now you're talking about Patrick Payton with your 2s. Guy's got 40 career TFLs. You get the point. I agree rotating on the defensive line can be a good thing. I don't know that I agree with that on the offensive line. You want continuity. They didn't rotate on the offensive line a year ago. When your starters were out there, you were settled with those really experienced dudes who played a bunch. You didn't say, this would be a good thing to rotate. No, you want the continuity of having those guys out there. But you don't have that this year. You're still trying to identify who your best 5 in what spot is. And truthfully, you won't know that until they go play a game. Now, Brian Kelly was asked about specifically Mabenga, Chester, and Eccles, the 3 guys that are kind of all competing. We know Josh Thompson is starting at one guard spot. The question is who's at the other, and those are the 3 guys who are competing for it.
Paul actually moves very well for us, right? He can handle movements. He's been more consistent from that standpoint. DJ, you love the fact that he played so much football for you last year. He is in a new position if he is at the guard position from the center position, but we like his size, we like his smarts, we like his experience. And then with Cohen, he's physically strong. So if you get into a one-on-one matchup against an elite defensive tackle, he can hold his own physically. And so each one of them brings a little bit to the table, if you will, and that's why most likely you're going to see them all playing.
You would love to have one of those guys establish themselves. I will say this about Paul Mabenga. When he went in when Garrett Dellinger got hurt in that A&M game, his grade in that game was a 49. He got his first start against Alabama, unenviable. He went this is PFF, 43 rating against Alabama, 45 against Florida, 54 against Vanderbilt, 60 against Oklahoma. So once he became the starter every week, he got incrementally better. How much better year 1 to year 2 is a big question. But I will say this. Having Braylon Moore at center is a massive help. It's the most important position on the offensive line. It's the one that makes the calls, touches the football, every single play is the battery. And you have an incredibly gifted center. That's huge. I will also say, in the name of fairness, for all the talent Clemson has on their defense, last year, they were not great defensively. This is the part of the narrative of the conversation that hasn't been told much. A year ago, Clemson was 84th in the country in rush defense. Do you realize that? 134 teams in the FBS. Clemson was 84th against the run. They allowed 160 yards a game, 4.7 yards per carry. How about sacks? That Clemson defensive front was 26th in the country in sacks. They had 35 sacks on the season. They were 26th. You know who's 27th? LSU had 34 sacks. 1 fewer sack. By the way, Clemson played an extra game because they had to play in the ACC championship game. All that to say, yes, there's a lot of talent on that Clemson defensive front. But they didn't play great a year ago. How much better are they this year is a big question. New defensive coordinator Tom Allen. How quickly can this LSU offensive line assimilate together? Just a mighty big ask to do it on the road. We'll see if they can on Saturday. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Talk to former Tiger great Chris Carrier next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about my friends over at Duplessis Builders. Derek Duplessis, man, he does a great job. Just a good human being and a great pool builder. I mean, they were named this year by Pool & Spa Magazine a top 50 pool builder in America, not in Baton Rouge, not in Louisiana, in the country. Number 26, actually, on that list. And it's not just because they build beautiful pools that last. It also considers things like customer service, which they go above and beyond at Duplessis Builders. Listen, if you know anyone who's built a pool, you probably have heard someone tell you horror stories of that process, which is why you owe it to yourself to give Duplessis Builders a call. Let Derek and his team go through this process with you where they hold your hand through the design, the dig, the build, the finish, all of it. And you're going to be thrilled with the product. Get a 10-year workmanship warranty. And because they do so many great NIL deals, you're supporting the Tigers as well. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Auto locks are live over at LouisianaSports.net. You want them, you get them for free right now. LouisianaSports.net under the betting section, or right there on the homepage. Just click Auto locks. You'll see Jimmy's got some MLB plays up. Jimmy will be here in about 30 minutes. I was walking out of LSU practice Saturday in Tiger Stadium, saw my freshman civics teacher, and I thought, hey, you should come on the radio with me sometimes. It helps when your freshman civics teacher was an all-SEC safety, an NFL draft pick, a Thorpe finalist, and spent, I don't know, the last 30 years or so as a high school football and track coach in the area. Got a couple of guys who he mentored who are on this LSU football team right now, Chris Hilton, Trey Green. Chris Carrier, good enough to join us. CC, great to chat. Good to see you Saturday, man. How are you?
Hey, man, look, it was good. It was good to honor Robin Fambro, man. She, she's a legend in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Just like,
hey, you cut off. I lost you. You there?
I said she's a legend in Baton Rouge. We were honoring Robin Fambro on Saturday.
Yeah, man. Robin, actually,
Sunday, yeah.
I got to see Robin as well on Saturday, and she, for those that don't know, Robin, who's a longtime advocate, high school reporter, is retiring. I mean, an incredible, legendary career. I don't know that there's anyone, CC, who's in this community has given more to prep sports and coverage and growing prep sports than Robin. So, congrats to Robin on a fantastic career. She's getting a lot of well-deserved flowers everywhere she goes. Much deserved. Hey, you were there Saturday. Did you have any big picture takeaways from watching that practice Saturday in Tiger Stadium?
No, they were just basically kind of game prepping. You know, I think they were just kind of making sure they got 11 guys on the field. They were doing situational things. They were going over special teams, special situation things on third and long, third and short. So they didn't do a lot of hitting. I think that's what goes on a week before a big football game. They just try to make sure they got 11 people on the football field, in every situation.
You played in obviously a very different era, and you were very physical safety as a player. Now, CC, like they don't even allow 2-a-days. The NCAA limits the amount of full contact practices they can have. I mean, look, you've seen it from both sides, both as a player and as a high school football coach as well. But like, how much, even a pro coach, how much does that affect your ability to be a fundamental player when you can't hit as much?
I think back in the 70s and 80s when football was tight end, fullback, tailback, and you run the ball 40, 50 times a game, and you may throw it 10 times a game. And you needed that physicality. You needed to practice physical every day. Now, if they run the ball 10 times, that's a lot. So now you have to, rest your players and get your players ready for a up and down the field type of football instead of, 21 personnel with a tight end and two backs.
What did you think? We all know the answer to this question. I'm just curious what you saw. Last year, the safety play at LSU was poor. I mean, you could look at any metric, Pro Football Focus, Brian Kelly's talked to, they needed an upgrade. They got transfers. We know it. When you watched them play a year ago at that position, what did you see as the deficiency?
I just thought that the offenses would put the safeties in a pickle. If you couldn't play man to man with your safeties are usually physical people. They want to come up and hit somebody, and so offenses would go 4 wides, 5 wides, and they would put you in a tough situation, and they would make the safeties have to cover. So, I think a lot of the times the safeties had difficulties, covering man to man and being in a passing situation. So and that's the kind of pickle that offenses put defenses in right now. You got to have cover guys on the field, and those cover guys got to either cover and they got to tackle.
It's a very limited sample size, obviously, but did you get a chance to look at Cooley and Halsey, the 2 transfer safeties, and maybe a thought on what you see with those guys?
I really, without a program.
Yeah, no doubt.
The only people I knew on defense was Perkins and Weeks.
Those are easy dudes to spot too, man. They flash.
Those are the only 2 guys I do on defense. On offense, obviously was Trey and Chris and Nussmeier. It's just really hard right now with the transfer portal and new guys coming in and out. If you're not around enough, you can't really know the names because it was difficult to kind of follow who was in and who wasn't in.
No doubt. So let me ask you a theoretical question, because I'm out there practice every day, so I could see. I basically watch those dudes a bunch more. But let me ask you a theoretical question where they've added so many transfers and new guys, and I'm assuming CC, Halsey and Cooley, the 2 transfers they brought in, those guys are going to be starters. They brought them here for that reason. Both guys have played a ton of football, right? Like Halsey's played 36 games with 33 starts, but he just showed up here in June. Like,
now, these are safeties, right?
These are safeties, yeah. So, like, they're going to have 2 new starting safeties, both of them transfers, and they're still going to have Toviano and then Deshaun Spears, who I want to ask you about in a second because I know you saw him at Denham.
Right.
Like, how quickly is it reasonable to assume those guys can assimilate, learn the terminology, the calls, like all that stuff?
Yeah, you just gotta, you just gotta go basic. You just gotta be basic. Go basic formations and basic coverages, and then you just go from there. I mean, you got to go from cover 3, cover 2, man. Then you put pressures in, so you have to take it one step at a time and give those guys. And if they can handle it, you give them more. The more they can handle, the more you can give. If if they're struggling with having 4 and 5 and 6 checks and coverages, then you got to back down a little bit and try to, find the best thing that they could do and stick to that.
What do you think about Deshaun Spears, obviously from Denham, who you got to see in high school?
Right. I mean, I think he's a great athlete. I know he came out with Colin Jackson. I know Colin transferred to TCU, so they were kind of what and what when they came out. And I think Deshaun, he has the size. I don't know. What's the situation as far as playing time. But, watching him play in high school, I think is a pretty good safety.
Chris Carrier is our guest, former LSU defensive back, of course, NFL, been at Catholic Zachary a whole bunch of years now as a football assistant, and obviously as the head track coach there now with the Broncos. We were texting not long ago, and you told me, actually, you didn't text me this. You told me this when I saw you a few weeks back, that Chris Hilton is the best athlete that you've ever coached. I'm going to let you fill in the blanks there.
Well, I don't want to get in trouble because I coach a lot of good kids at Travis Minor and Eric Reed and all those guys. But Chris Hilton, I mean, anytime you can stand flat-footed and dunk a basketball, high jump 7 feet, or run a 46 quarter, you're pretty good. So I would rank him in the top 2 or 3 athletes that I've ever coached. He is really good. If he stays healthy, he's going to be really big for LSU.
Yeah, I want to elaborate there about Chris if he stays healthy, because that's just the question, right? I mean, I've said here that in the last, not this year, the previous 2 fall camps, I think Chris Hilton was LSU's best receiver in fall camp, and then got hurt. If he is healthy for a full 12-game season, how does he impact this offense?
He's a deep threat. I mean, he takes the top off the defense. I mean, you can see that every time that he plays, he is going to be that guy that is going to take the top off the defense. And he can also, catch screens and catch the intermediate passes. But he's good. He's the guy that's going to be that guy that takes the top off the defense because of his speed, his athletic ability, and he can out-jump just about any defensive back out there.
Trades is another one that you had at Zachary. Did he participate in track and field at all?
No, he didn't.
He's basketball.
He was basketball, football player, and he just throw the ball up to him because we were in a playoff game, and I saw him out there with this little poor corner, and in fact it was a Destrehan and Ed Reed and Rondell Mealy was standing right next to him. I said, "Uh-oh, he's by himself," and then the quarterback threw the ball up to him, and he's 6'7". I mean, you just keep throwing the ball up to him. He's got soft hands. He's a great receiver. He's one of those kids that he's just going to get better and better every day.
CC, high school athlete. I mean, they're college linebackers that don't have a prayer against trade history. A high school corner, a little 5'8", 150-pound high school corner's got no shot whatsoever. Like, what was Destrehan doing leaving Trades Green one-on-one with a little corner?
Well, they were trying to put pressure on the quarterback, and they needed an extra guy. So I think that they rethought it after that.
Yeah, that's way too logical, and it's actually illogical to think of it that way. Chris Carrier is our guest. How the Broncos going to be on the track this year, man?
Hey, man, we haven't started yet. We finished. Our girls were indoor runner-up last year, and we got a lot of people back. So we're looking to battle the Bears again next year on that track.
Bring it. Bears are still pretty good, man. They're salty in a lot of sports. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, you ever miss wearing the orange and black?
No, but I was over there with Brew just got inducted into the Grizzly Great, so I went over there and shook a few hands and saw a lot of love from the Bears. But I'm a Bronco baby, and we're gonna see the Bears in Week 10.
I'll look forward to it, man. Chris Carrier, former LSU defensive back. I know him as my freshman civics teacher. I was pretty good in civics too, man. Like I got it there. I belted out the national anthem. I mean, I did it right, CC. Like,
and you knew all the amendments too.
I knew all the amendments. I mean, I nailed it.
Capitals.
Now, don't ask me today. I don't think I could do that today, man. I'll be in trouble. You start asking me like, what's the capital of Maine? Bangor. What is the capital of Maine, CC? I don't know.
Portugal. Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine. There it is. Portland, Maine. There it is. Man, if I stumped you, that'd have been something, man. All right, CC. Good to chat, man. Good to see you on Saturday. We'll visit soon.
All right, man. Look, go Broncos and go Tigers.
Go Bears. I'll see you, man. That's Chris Carrier. Always a great sense of humor, man. And it was really cool when I think back on it. To have had that guy as a high school football coach. He was coaching DBs at Catholic when I played there. And you think CC was. I mean, for those who remember watching LSU football in the 80s, you'll remember Chris Carey. I mean, he's 6'4". He was a giant-bodied safety who brought the wood. Like, that was his thing. He was a very physical player. Concussions, as I understand it, ended his NFL career. He was drafted by the Cardinals. But that's a dude who was a Thorpe finalist his senior year at LSU. NFL, I mean, dude with that experience has been a coach for 30 years. Maybe longer than that, actually. But, I was a freshman at Catholic in 96. And that's 30 years ago he was coaching at Catholic. So, I mean, he'd even been coaching before then. So, just a ton of knowledge and great resource. I saw CC on Saturday at the scrimmage. I was like, man, come on the show. So, he did. Appreciate it. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll have Otter here in 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, another dubious distinction for the New Orleans Saints we'll touch on. And we'll get some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. You could text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. Do it. Stick around with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Action Industries is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. You know where you can get them at the website, Action, INDINC.com. Action, INDINC.com for Action Industries Incorporated. Over at Action, remember, they've got the Advanced Turnaround Group. So Action Industries has the Advanced Turnaround Group, which is a subsidiary. So same company, but a completely different set of resources. If you got a turnaround coming, and we know turnaround season really runs to October. So if you have a turnaround, coming, you're going to need someone to bid that job. The Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries, they've assembled a core group of people that have built their careers around executing your turnaround. They're not just taking workers and throwing them into the turnaround world. It's a completely different pool of resources. Same people at Action with workers who are proficient in turnaround work, turnaround managers and coordinators. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
All right, Jimmy will be here in about a dozen minutes for Otter Locks. Otter Locks are posted at LouisianaSports.net. Saints continuing to trim their roster from 90 to 53. All NFL teams got to be down to 53 by 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday. So when we hit the air on Tuesday, we'll know the Saints' initial 53-man roster. Trevor Penning, no doubt, will be on it, but was injured early in the preseason and in that first preseason game. And Kellen Moore gave an update on the starting left guard on Monday.
Yeah, he's progressing well. Obviously, he was out there at the game. He still got his boot on, but doing a lot of good things. And so we'll continue to evaluate these timelines, especially as they correlate to the 53-man roster, and we'll have to make some decisions just there. Certainly tomorrow.
If you missed Ross Jackson last hour. Go back and check out that interview. Remember, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Audio, video, so podcast or YouTube. Just search AFR LSU or AFR Saints on podcast or on YouTube. Whichever you want, LSU, AFR LSU. You want Saints, AFR Saints. But we talked to Ross Jackson, in the last hour, kind of looking. And one of the things that I'm always interested in when the roster cuts come is, so you have your initial 53, and then you look around the NFL, and if you have 32 teams that are cutting, all cutting 37 players, that's 1,184 players. So nearly 1,200 free agents instantly like that. So among those 1,200, are any of those guys better than someone at a position that you currently have? So that's why I always say it's the first 53. So you have your 53, but then you look around and there's a free agent available who's better than what you got. Boom, sign that guy. You cut someone who you had initially kept. Offensive line is going to be the spot that they're going to be looking at most likely because of the injuries. Obviously, Nick Saldiveri's injury. Landon Young was injured on Saturday in the preseason game. Trevor Penning still battling an injury. So Will Clapp, we know, is on IR. His season's over. So that's a huge one to watch here over these next few days, is what the New Orleans Saints do on the offensive line with some of these cut downs. As of right now, and if you go to LouisianaSports.net, by the way, right at the top of the homepage, there's the Saints roster cuts tracker. So Ross is keeping up with this real time. As we learn of players that are released or waived, he's updating them. And it's by position, very easy to follow. Right now, there are 4 offensive linemen that have been waived: Kyle Hergel, Josiah Ezarim, Mike Panasiuk, and Jonathan Mendoza. Those are the 4 offensive linemen that as of now have been waived. So they still got work to do to get that number even lower, but those are the ones we know as of right now, so we'll keep an eye on it as we move toward 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Got mold? Don't just paint over it. Don't just cover it up. It's a hazard for you, for your family, if it's at a place of business, for your customers, for your employees. Parish Restoration can kill that mold like it was never there. They'll kill it and clean it up like it was never there. You've got to see this process work. It's mold remediation. They can remove odor as well. So if you got odor from a pet, from sweat, from fire, whatever it may be, come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog, and just like that, your building, your office, your home, your vehicle will be smelling brand new. Maybe you own a gym, a workout facility. It's got that awful sweat odor. Let them come in, spray. It'll sanitize the whole space, first of all, and look at it smelling fresh and clean. It's Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. We've gone through a lot of these this offseason, and I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer character from SNL, but I have consistently this offseason shared with you a lot of these both objective and subjective data, metrics, lists, rankings, all that sort of stuff as an illustration, realistically, of what you should expect this year from the New Orleans Saints. When everyone is telling you, odds makers, PFF, media writers, former coaches, front office people, anonymously, however it is, they're all telling you the Saints aren't going to be very good, you probably shouldn't expect a double-digit win season for New Orleans. Well, the latest is that ESPN has released their projected top 100. So remember, the current players in the NFL do the NFL rank. They do the top 100. They rank the top 100 players in the NFL. ESPN asked 10 of their NFL reporters or contributors to rank what they think this will look like at the end of 2025. So after the season, what will the top 100 look like? Patrick Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, Myles Garrett, Lamar, Joe Burrow 5, Pat Surtain 6, Jet 7, Jamar Chase 8. How about that? 3 players from 2019 LSU in the top 8. Micah Parsons, Chris Jones 10, TJ Watt, Lane Johnson, Fred Warner, Penei Sewell, Kyle Hamilton, 15, Aiden Hutchinson, Saquon, Jalen Carter, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers. That's your top 20. You get it. You scroll through this top 100. You know how many Saints are on that list? Again, projecting at the end of the 2025 season, who will the top 100 players in the NFL be? You want to know how many Saints there are on that list? None. 0. Bagel. Donut. Goose egg. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Niet. Niete. None. And I know, like, whenever we've looked at lists like this in the past, what I hear back from Saints fans is, how can you not have Kamara on that list? Man, Demario Davis? Like, can you please remember that we're not talking about 25-year-old Alvin Kamara? We're talking about a guy that for 3 straight years was a declining running back and now is approaching his age 31 season and is coming off an injury that cost him the end of his season, which would have been the first 1,000-yard season of his career. Like, do we all of a sudden think he's just going to be incredible this year? I mean, you could look at Demario Davis, who, I love. I think the world of Demario Davis. He might be my favorite Saints free agent acquisition ever. Demario is still a tackling machine. He's 36 years old. I mean, where would he fall? I'm looking at this list, and in the top 100 in the NFL, just if you go to number 100 on the list, they've got Devon Witherspoon there, Kyler Murray at 99, Garrett Bowles at 98, Josh Hines-Allen at 97, Brock Purdy at 96, Laramie Tunsil's at 95. I don't think you realize when you start thinking, because 100 seems like a giant number. But, there's 1,700 players in the NFL. 1,700 players on NFL rosters. If you pare that down to the top 100, generally speaking, on average, that would be 3 a team. Well, on a team like the Eagles or the Chiefs, the Bills, they're going to tilt that in their favor. Maybe at the end of the season, we're talking about Kelvin Banks or Talia Seifuaga. Maybe I'd love that. I'd hope that'd be amazing if we did. But where else? What else feels like a no-doubter? I'm scrolling this list just looking for the lowest rated running back on this list to see, would you take Kamara or whoever? The lowest rated running back on here is Jonathan Taylor at number 69. Jonathan Taylor in 24 ran for 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. And he's 26 years old. There's no comparison of who you take today. So, yeah, it's a team that is void of experienced talent still in their prime. Cam Jordan at one point, Demario Davis at one point, Alvin Kamara at one point. None of them are still there. I'd argue maybe Eric McCoy would have a case and might. But again, he missed almost the entire season a year ago with that groin injury. So what are you getting this year? There's a lot of prove it, even with the guys that are veteran players who have been productive in the past. Just a different era for the New Orleans Saints. It's the start of a rebuild. We have to just reprogram our minds as we watch the team this year. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks next on AFR.
AFR.
If you want to feel like your younger self, you can. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. I get it. When we say Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, people immediately think ED. That's part of what they do, but it's one tiny part of what they do. Hormone replacement therapy is something that I don't care how old you are or how you think you feel. I'm here to tell you a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. And from the very first injection, if you start on testosterone therapy, you will feel immediately invigorated, thinking you will not know how bad you feel now until you start feeling good again. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices and never any contracts. Don't think you're going to get stuck in some long-term contract. It's lowest prices, and you will never, ever, ever have a contract. Learn more. You owe it to yourself. yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Monday edition of AFR. We always appreciate Relief Windows. Yeah, you can go get a bunch of different estimates, but I'm telling you, you get estimates just trying to find who's the cheapest. That's never going to be Relief Windows. You want the best quality product, the best customer service before and after the sale, all of it, the best installation, the best people. There's only one choice. It's Relief Windows. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, welcome back from Vegas. How are you?
Great, man. Yes, don't do like I did and not use Relief Windows with the original construction of your home, because you will be replacing them, and more likely than not if you don't. So functional, look great, they last.
Love
yes,
it.
Indeed.
Listen, my guy. All right. What are we betting on tonight?
Marlins. This was started. We were minus some points, minus 110 some places. It's now plus 105. The Marlins started about 10 minutes ago. Check me out.
It's
on the,
minus $1.16. It was just minus $1.59. It just dropped to minus $1.16. So it's close to what it went off at actually right
They're
now.
probably batting in the bottom of the first. No score then, I would suppose.
Is it worth?
So.
They are. It's a bottom. Bottom of the first, 2 out with a runner on first.
Yeah, there we go. So take the Marlins. Okay. Not a bad price to jump in on right now. Big series in at Citi Field in Queens, and kind of a last gasp here maybe for the Mets at home. Got the Phillies. It's a big blow, man. Zach Wheeler, top 3 in the Cy Young probably this year, in the last 2 years, out for the season and maybe career damaging. What a blow, man. But they've got their guy that they put Mizorowski in with only 25 innings. This is the guy that missed out. He's Tex Suarez, one of the 2 Suarez for Philadelphia. They're both top 5 Cy Young placements right now. We're going with Suarez. I got a future bet on the Mets to win the division. I just think it's kind of left the boat. I'm going to take a much favorable pitching advantage here. Senga for the Mets have been very average. Suarez, way better than average. Philly minus 130 on the road at Queens tonight.
They're showing DraftKings app is showing Christopher Sanchez as the starter for the Phillies.
Yes, I'm sorry, Sanchez.
Okay,
Sanchez.
All right, my apologies. Okay, good.
Sanchez, Suarez. I get some sleep. All right, so Kansas City. Noah Cameron, I believe that's his first name. So and last name. For the Kansas City Royals, and quietly been one of the unsung heroes in this run that Kansas City's on. So as the Tigers have kind of fallen back, the Guardians have. They're not going to catch them the Central, but, man, they are creeping up in the wild card spot. So Noah Cameron in Kansas City riding those hot bats on the south side tonight of Chicago against Smith in laying a modest 130 in that one as well.
All right, the Marlins, which is already underway, so watch the price. Let me see if it's updated, Otter. We are at minus $1.07 right now, so even better price right now if you can get it. Marlins, Royals, Phillies are the 3 plays tonight for Otter Lock. So where are you tomorrow?
We are at Mike Anderson's on Lee. So best price I found in Las Vegas, LSU over 8.5 was minus 140 at where we stayed at Circa. Had to shop around a lot for it, but minus 140, so I got low. A little up-down Louisiana action going.
Is there
over Tigers, under Saints? So
you think there's value minus 140?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I like this LSU roster a lot. I mean, if it's 9-3, it's gonna. Brian Kelly's not getting fired, okay? But there's going to be some unhappy settlers around here. So I just think they're way too good not to go 9-3. And I do think, and wait till the end of this game, The loser of Saturday night, Clemson LSU, will make it to the playoff, and you'll get a much better price as soon as the game is ended, whoever that may be.
Totally agree. Also, Heisman with Klubnik and Nuss. Whoever loses, you'll get a much better price on either one of those guys. It could certainly make a run.
They didn't give that to Manning already?
Have a good night. Good luck, Connor. We'll see you tomorrow. That's Jimmy Yott. It's After Further Review. Supper Club is closed today. They'll be back open tomorrow. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. You know, we talk about like the Alaskan king crab, and it's insane when you think about it. These are the king crab legs they get from the ships from the show The Deadliest Catch. They actually come on the crates and they're labeled with the name of the boat from that are featured on that show. When we talk about Supper Club, yes, I talk about the steaks all the time, and the steaks are incredible. Like literally one of a kind in the city, in the state, sometimes in the country, when you're talking about your beef. But it's everything. If you're trying the Ora King salmon, if you want a piece of Chilean sea bass, if it's the lamb chops, no matter what you eat at Supper Club, it's going to be the best thing that you've ever had of that thing. Only at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. Football season's here. There's Football Fridays. Great spot on Friday night for a home game or any night. Tuesday to Saturday, reservations at SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com for Supper Club. All right, y'all, just about to wrap up here on this Monday edition of AFR. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. We did give you a practice report from Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Heard a lot of what Brian Kelly had to say on Monday, previewing the Clemson game. Ross Jackson was here in hour two, giving us a preview of a recap of the Saints preseason game, looking at the roster cuts as the Saints are already making their way down from 90 to 53. Former Tiger great Chris Carrier was here earlier this hour. So if you missed any of it, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. All right, Muse, Cassie, thanks. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to being back on a Tuesday edition during football season of AFR. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After Further Review.
Getting on down the road, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. It's not too late. It's not too late to get your child their annual eye exam. Start of school year is a great time and a reminder on the calendar to schedule that eye exam. You want to make sure your children, in the same way that you're going to take them to the dentist, in the same way that you're going to take them to the doctor, they're going to get their vaccinations or whatever, you want to make sure they get their annual eye exam as well. The Williamson Eye Center can help you. 8 locations, so it's super convenient. A couple of them in Baton Rouge, Lutcher and the River Parishes. They've got Denham, Zachary, St. Francisville. Schedule that eye exam. Remember, they can fill your glasses and contact prescription as well. WilliamsonEye.com. Williamson, EYE.com.